Hey everybody, and welcome to the Food Explorer podcast. My name is Colleen, and this week it's going to be a solo-sode, so just me, but it's also going to be a bit of a conversation around the holidays. So right now in where I'm living, Canada, we are November 14th. So very close to coming up on the holiday season, the mad rush, we got to get everything and plan all the meals and the family outings and the shopping trips and just the total chaos that is the holidays. For many people, you might be one of those people that you're like, nah, dog, not me. And that's all good. I applaud you. I'm not in that situation. So as some of you know, if you listen to the podcast, I do have my own business. I'm a chocolatier. So this for me is my most insane, most busiest season ever. Much of it self-inflicted, and I'll explain what that means in just a few minutes. But this time of the year is not just for me, but so for anybody in the hospitality industry, really, it is your make or break for many businesses. And so I thought I want to come on here and have a bit of a conversation around what it means to work in the food industry during this time of year and how hard it is to navigate and, be unique and compete and collaborate and really everything that has to happen. So for my business, doing chocolates, this is our number one time of year for selling. A lot of people are like, oh, it must be really busy at Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. Typically not for us. And part of it is because, for our business, we do pre-orders for everything. I don't, make 5,000 bunnies at Easter and be like, oh, I hope I sell them. I don't do that. We have a no-waste kitchen, so everything is pre-orders. And so we find that the typical shopper for like Valentine's Day or Mother's Day, they're looking for that item that they can just, grab when they're making another purchase. We also see a lot of people at Valentine's Day, they're looking to do that fancy dinner. So they'll spend the money on the dinner, flowers, and then, if they get chocolate, it's usually, not to be mean, but it's usually just like cheap chocolate from, the drugstore or the grocery store. And then we find for Mother's Day, because, worldwide, it is the biggest brunch day of the year for anyone. It's also, I'll have to see if the stat still checks out, but it's also the number one day of the year for like long distance phone calls, call your mom. But for us, for Mother's Day, we find that, because people are doing the brunch, the chocolate isn't really our big seller. But this time of year is. I have to giggle because I'm recording the podcast and I am literally surrounded by boxes that need thousands of chocolates put inside them. So like pretty much every other chocolatier out there, there's a few that don't do it, and God bless you. I wish some days I wish I was you, but we do an advent calendar. We call it a 25-day chocolate experience. And part of that is because we really looked at our customers and we asked them a lot of questions. And one of the questions was, when we originally started doing advent calendars, was how do you actually enjoy your advent calendar? And we found the majority of our customers do not eat the chocolates day by day. They open the box, they eat the box. They then call me after, 3 days of having the box and say, I ate my box. And I giggle and say, I'm proud of you. There's nothing I can do for you. Again, we do pre-orders. So a lot of people will just be like, oh, I'm just going to capitalize on everybody's going to buy an advent calendar at this time of year. And I'm going to make, 5,000 advent calendars and hope I sell them. Well, the problem with that, of course, is that now, if you, in 2023, search advent calendar on the internet, you are going to get an advent calendar for wine, beer, face products, makeup, nail polish, olive oil, whatever you can think of, Lego. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, somebody's doing an advent calendar for it. And so that sort of traditional chocolate, day by day, opening the doors, getting your chocolate. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure when we grew up, we got to do our chocolate in the morning. I'll have to check with my parents, but I'm pretty sure we got to do the chocolate in the morning before we went to school, but that's not the case anymore. So the competition for calendars and providing a unique day-by-day experience is really much more than it ever used to be. Because we do only pre-orders, I have a set amount of calendars that I sell, and that's it. And once they're gone, they're gone. There's no making more calendars. Because I'm also a solopreneur, I rely heavily on my friends and family this time of year. So when I said earlier that my, stress right now is self-inflicted, it's because I, as a chocolatier, and this is just me, and this is what I do, and I'm not saying this is correct, but I make the chocolates fresh. So I literally have one more batch of chocolates to make tonight. I am going to attempt to go to bed before 2:30 in the morning, which was last night. I went to bed at 2:30 in the morning, and the night before was 1 in the morning, and that's not healthy. We're going to talk about health in just a moment, but I make all the chocolates fresh right before they're basically going out to people's homes and then bellies. And the reason I do this is a couple of reasons. One, I don't use stabilizers and emulsifiers and preservatives, anything like that. I don't use any of that in my chocolate. My chocolate is made fresh, and I want you to enjoy chocolates. I don't want you to be eating chocolate that, was made in March and, had a whole bunch of stuff put in it so that it could be shelf stable until you're buying it in, December. So that's one thing. The other thing is I like to create stories around each of the chocolates. So I spend a lot of time thinking, okay, what's the sort of theme, the emotion, the concept that I want to do for the calendars. And so that's why we started calling it, I'm gonna go back and forth saying calendars experience, because it's just it is what it is. Just deal with it. But I this year went with a couple of things. One was a concept, and the concept was local ingredients. Obviously, chocolate's not local. There's nothing local about chocolate. But what can I do to incorporate local ingredients? And the way I do that is I buy from local vendors, producers, farmers. I spend time, at the farmers markets buying stuff. And I search out as many local ingredients as possible that I can incorporate into the calendar that also tie into my theme. And my theme this year is cozy comforts and nostalgia. So there's a lot of chocolatiers out there, and again, you do you, but they make crazy and weird flavors. Don't make crazy weird flavors. Don't put weird things like kimchi in your chocolate. I'm sorry, just stop. So every flavor in the 25 days experience that we are putting out is either like a childhood memory or something from my travels, places that I've lived, or even fan favorites from events that we've done where we've just got such amazing feedback. And, the chocolate was created with an intention at the event. And then from there, it becomes sort of part of Colleen's Chocolates. That's the name of my company. So we had the concept of the local, the theme was the cozy comfort and nostalgia. And then the third part of it, and, as I was thinking about everything that I was putting together, the third part of it was yummy. I want people to eat each chocolate and be like, yummy, yummy. That was delicious. I want that when you start to think about your favorite things to eat, the things you love to eat, each of these chocolates, I want it to be that experience. So those are kind of the things that I thought about as I was creating it, and then working with local vendors. And so, even our box was designed by somebody local. Our print broker is a local guy. He worked with a small company, a small printing company. The boxes are they're gorgeous. The material is nice. And everything about it is just lovely. And we did everything here in Canada. And again, if you're a chocolatier or, some kind of a person that sells food out there and you're listening and you're like, ooh, judgy. Not judgy. That's our value. We want the stuff done in our country. I don't want to get my boxes from China because I, can. I don't want to get my boxes from China because the carbon footprint. I've already got a huge carbon footprint with the chocolate. So how do I offset that footprint? And part of that is the local ingredients that I put in, and part of it is sourcing the boxes here in Canada. So those are just a couple of things. Along those lines, though, being in competition with other people, being collaborative with other people, but also the stress of this time of year for people like myself, people that own restaurants, it's immense. And honestly, this isn't, I'm not saying this because it's like, oh, feel bad for me. But this 8 weeks is what makes or break our business for the entire year. We used to have a bit more sort of not, flat line across the year for sales and production, but we definitely didn't have this extreme spike that we have, which is now November and December. Before we used to, as the business was growing and building, we used to have those times where we were busier, but not the insanity that is this time of year. And again, like I said, it's my choice to make all the chocolates fresh right before people are going to be eating them. And yeah, I could do it differently, but I'm not going to. But it's just a lot of pressure. Right now, I have made just over 5,000 chocolates, and that's by myself. But I do have amazing help from my friends and family that are like, can we please come and help you package the boxes? Yes, please and thank you. So my dad folded the Advent boxes today, and my mom was putting the chocolates in the boxes, and my boyfriend and his mom were packaging chocolate bark, and we're going to do it all again tomorrow because we did not get very far today. The other thing is we used to have our commercial kitchen that we used to have. We had these 14 giant tables. And so we could lay out, I think we could lay out 75 calendars at a time. So it was pretty awesome because we could do, do a quick zip. It would take us a couple hours because with our calendars as well, we have 25 chocolates in there, which is different. Some people don't do that. We also have different size chocolates. So it's fun. It's just, honestly, it's fun. It's yummy. That's what you're supposed to be thinking right now. I had somebody the other day that asked me, and they're like, well, did you sell out of your calendars? Well, absolutely. And that's the goal. Like we don't make so many, there's always this, well, if you make more, you'll sell more. Yeah, we probably would, but also physically, I can't do that to myself. So I'm also sitting with an air cast on today because I fell down my stairs yesterday, or not yesterday, on Sunday. Fell down my stairs because I was carrying a bunch of ingredients into the house. I was stressed. I was running around. And also this time of year, it's just that get through it. I'm not taking care of myself. I don't need any sleep. Sleep when you're dead kind of a mantra. But to that, sort of line of thought, there's also a lot of businesses that, if this is the time of year where it is make or break for them, they are thinking about, okay, like if it's a restaurant, all right, am I doing the Christmas dinner? Am I doing the New Year's Eve, dinner bash cocktails? Am I doing brunch? Am I offering holiday themed specials? Is it a turkey dinner or, whatever it is? And there's a lot of pressure because you're trying to capture a market of people. Your market of people is potentially going to be limited because not everybody is thinking, yeah, I want to go out for Christmas dinner. A lot of people at this time of year, it's gathering with friends and family, so they're doing stuff at home. So how do you, as somebody that wants people to come to your restaurant or buy your product, entice them? And honestly, I don't have the answers. We are very lucky with our little tiny business that we have a really good following of people and we have a lot of people that know. But I started looking around, just kind of the internet the other day and seeing how many restaurants are offering, Christmas dinner, New Year's Day brunch. And think about that. Typically staff maybe get 2 days off a year in the restaurant industry, like Christmas Day, New Year's Day, maybe both of them, maybe one, maybe the other. So now you're saying as a business owner, you know what, I need to capture the market and how many other people are open on those days? Maybe I should be open. So you take away from your staff that one, day to kind of rest before all the craziness starts again. And 2, time for them to be with their families, right? And I think, if there's something that a lot of people have realized over the past couple years is, it's really nice to spend some time with the friends and family. It's nice to have the opportunity to actually sit down and say, I like you. Let's spend some time together. I don't need to work crazy hours. But in the hospitality industry, that's very challenging to do because you are really trying to capture a market. So it's a hard time of year for a lot of people. And along with that is just the physical toll on your body. So right now I'm working, morning till night. I'm lucky if I go to bed at 1 a.m. A lot of nights are a lot later. And so how do you take care of yourself? Well, I'm just straight up honest. I'm not taking care of myself. I'm a freaking wreck right now. I've got an air cast on every day. We joke that my boyfriend's got to rub my shoulders and rub my back and rub my hands so that I can get up and go and face the day and start making, thousands of chocolates. And, most days I'm not able to get that many done because I'm tired and I'm moving slow. But it's also that, January's coming. January's going to be good. For many people in the hospitality industry, because January is not a busy time of year, it becomes that sort of time where you do get to rest a bit. You do get to connect back with your friends and your family, or just take time for self-care. I think right now some self-care for myself would be really welcome, but I just, make a fancy latte and that's pretty much what I've got on board. That's the extent of my self-care right now. Did I make a fancy latte? I'm good. I'm good to go. I think that one other thing that I just wanted to talk to, like I said, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today, but the stress, so the stress of working a lot, stress on your body, of these extended hours, but also the stress of what if your shipment doesn't come in? What if your orders don't come in? What if you ship to people and they don't receive the order in time? What about ingredient shortages? So we just actually dealt with this last week where I needed some more chocolate for obviously making chocolates, and the regular company that we go to didn't have what we needed. And so we called another company who I don't like to deal with because they are notorious for gouging. They love to gouge. If you're in Edmonton, you can just message me. I'll tell you who it is. But they don't give good, fair pricing. And so I actually contacted a friend and I said, what's the price that they give you on this product? And it was less than what they quoted me. And so there's that gouging. Oh, they need that product. We're just going to charge more. And that can be really hard when you're working with really tight margins. And so in the food industry, if you don't know, the margins on what you actually are taking as a profit, if you even make a profit, is very, very tiny. And I'm not saying that like, oh, woe is me, it's so tiny. It just literally is, because we have the packaging and the labeling and all the ingredients and the time and the energy that go into everything. Like, I mean, I'm super lucky because I have basically 5 people working, and I'm using air quotes right now. My Oompa Loompas are not paid. They are friends and family that feel bad for me, but also want to help me, and also are the kindest humans that you could know. So, it's a little bit of everything, but it's just a lot of kindness there that, they want me to succeed in my business, and they know that hiring employees, multiples, is not in the cards for us. We're too small of a business to take on that strain. A lot of people think, well, but you'd be so much faster, you'd do so much this and so much that. Yes, but then I also have to take on the expense of, paying their wages, obviously. If I had somebody that was an actual full-time employee, then you have all the extra costs of WCB, so workers' compensation, CPP, Canada pension, EI, employment insurance, like all of those things as well, plus payroll remittance. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there. So for us, it doesn't make sense because, as I said earlier, really this 2 weeks right now where we've got to get advent calendars done is the craziest. After this, yes, we're busy. We're totally still slammed, but it's a lot more manageable. With the ingredient shortages though, like, again, we're very lucky that I can change what I'm doing. I don't have a storefront, so I don't have to have, salted caramels every day. I don't have to have, whatever flavors every day. I can basically make whatever flavors I want. So I navigate the ingredient shortages. Am I happy about it? No. Do I lose my mind? Yes. Dropping F-bombs? Yeah. But, we get through it. It's a challenge at this time of year because you just never know when an ingredient is going to be short. So that one, yes, we could buy a whole bunch of ingredients, in the summertime and start stockpiling for the winter. We totally could, but you have to have the cash flow to do that. And this year I ended up having 3 months sort of off work because we moved our commercial kitchen to a new commercial kitchen. We had to build that kitchen out. We had to build out the whole area, and that took time and, of course, a lot of money that, I could have went and bought a whole bunch of ingredients, but I needed a functional kitchen. So it's a catch-22 in many ways. It's nice to be stocked, but also you have to have the funds to stock it. And if you're not working because you have a kitchen that you're moving, for us in the summertime, it's definitely our slow time of year. We don't have a lot of people that are knocking down the door to buy chocolate when it's, 35 degrees outside. It's like, here's your chocolate soup, enjoy. So those are just a few things I want to talk about today. Like I said, nice short episode. I have a few guests that I'm lining up. I came up with some, for me, what I think are really sort of head scratcher, fascinating topics. And so I've started contacting some people to say, hey, would you be a guest? Because I think we could have a really cool conversation. And I've gotten quite a few yeses. So now it's just a matter of planning out when we can actually talk, because we leave, when I say we, my boyfriend and I, we leave on Thursday, and we start the first of our 3 back-to-back weekends for the Banff Christmas market. So one of our favorite markets to do. The organizer's amazing. The venue is amazing. We're basically out at the Warner Stables in Banff National Park, which is one of the most beautiful places in the world. If you haven't been to Banff, go. If you've dreamed of going to Banff, go. If you want to go do Christmas shopping, go. It really is. We sign up for all 3 weekends, and a lot of vendors, it's a challenge. They're like, oh, I could never sign up for all 3 weekends. I never could do all 3 weekends. I couldn't even do one weekend. We are incredibly blessed because I used to live in Canmore. I have the bestest, most wonderful friends that are so gracious to let us stay at their house. So we are super duper lucky that we can go do the Christmas market and we've got this amazing place that we can stay. And that's not the case for obviously everybody. So it keeps our costs down, but also the organizers of the event are just absolute professionals. And this is really, it's something that, we'll do an episode about this later, because it's one of those things where if you ever shopped at like a farmer's market or a maker's market, so a maker's market would be more where you have people doing things like pottery, glasswork, jewelry, soaps. So your farmer's market is a bit more of I could go and get my groceries for the week, and there's a few of those other types of vendors in there, whereas a maker's market is more of those fun gift ideas, and you'll have a few food vendors, but they're mostly food vendors like myself doing specialty foods, not necessarily your fruit and vegetables. So having a market organizer that is competent, that shows up to the event, and I'm saying that, and I'm not saying that in air quotes, we have actually worked at events before where the market organizer doesn't even show up. They've basically taken all your money and it's like, have at her, we're not coming in today. And you're going, oh, what if we need help? What if we have a question? There's actually been markets where not only did the organizer not even show up to the market, they weren't even in the same province. They were somewhere else living their best life, letting the market just kind of run amok. So having a market organizer that is professional and is looking out for your best interest, but also working really hard to market the event so that as a vendor, you've got customers and it's successful for you. It's so important. So we'll actually get some of our favorite market organizers on for an episode as well to talk about the logistics of it, because especially when you're doing events with food vendors, you don't want your bakery people to be going home at the end of the day with a full load of baked goods. What are they going to do with them? They're just going to toss them out, or they're going to, freeze them, maybe take them to the food bank. There's some companies where they actually will come around at the end of market day, and whatever you haven't sold that's perishable, or something like a baked item where it's not great the next day, they actually take them and they distribute them to different food bank or food pickup centers. This is a really interesting concept, and I've actually got that down as somebody that I want to have on the podcast to talk about the logistics of that. Because if you're picking up perishable foods to take to people, what's the distribution channel, and how quickly does that food need to be turned over to get into the hands of people that could benefit from that food? And how do you pick who gets the food? Like, honestly, it's such a complicated system in some ways, and in other ways, it's just a beautiful system to make sure that the people that need the food items can actually get access to them. So it also has to be accessible. Somebody is, needing to access food because they are. It could be anything. They could be low income. They could be maybe out of a job. It could be that they are, new to the country. It could be a lot of things, but the food also has to be accessible to them. There has to be a way for them to actually get to it and take it back home and prepare it if it needs to be prepared. So those are a couple things that we'll talk about coming up. With that, I'm gonna end this. I think at this point my chocolate should have set. So I said to Jason, I'm going to record a podcast episode while the chocolate bars are setting, and then I'm going to go keep working, but I'm not going to work till 2 a.m. I promise all of you, I will not work till 2 tonight. With that, that's a wrap. I will be back next week with another episode, and please let your friends know if you enjoy these episodes. Subscribe, like, share, but also if there's something that you think, oh, that's really interesting, let me know, because I'm always happy to hear some of the things that you guys find really, really interesting. Have an amazing day, afternoon, evening, whenever you're listening to this. And until next time, I'm Colleen, and this is the Food Explorer Podcast. Thank you so much.